And thank you all for your time and attention today. Again, my name is Shari Williams, and I am with Detroit Future City. Um, I am really excited to share my data product with you all today, which is all centered around protecting and building economic stability through Heir properties in Detroit. And for those of you that may not be fully aware of what an Heir property is, Heir properties are family-owned properties that are inherited through generations or passed on to recipients without formal legal proceedings to prove ownership. So generally, that may look like a home that is passed on without a will. Many times, those homes that are passed on in that way might go through what's called intestate succession, which means multiple people have legal right to the property. Or in some cases, there might have been a will, but the original owner didn't take that will through the proper legal processes, and it didn't clear probate, making that property an heir property. Before I go into the details of my data product, though, I do want to just share a little bit about who we are as an organization. So DFC, Detroit Future City, is a nonprofit think and do tank. We really started with a charge to catalyze implementation of the DFC strategic framework, which is a 50-year vision for the city of Detroit that was developed with input from more than 100,000 Detroiters. Since the release of the framework, Detroit has seen a lot of improvements, honestly. But however, as we continue to really look at how the city is advancing, we're still seeing a lot of deep-rooted inequities here in the city as well. So our work has evolved with a strategic focus to grow the number of resilient, thriving neighborhoods that attract and retain residents of diverse incomes and backgrounds, and to disrupt systemic racism, poverty, and other inequities to grow household income and wealth for Black Detroiters and other Detroiters of color. We enhance our work through research. We also have a strong focus on policy and advocacy. We lead cross-sector collaborations, and we also foster equitable, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth in Detroit. So I started off talking a little bit about what an heir property is and my data product. And I just want to kind of ground like why this is important, right? So many of us know that homes remain one of the most commonly owned assets and the cornerstone for household wealth generation. The importance of home ownership is very profound, particularly in Black communities where there's been a lot of historical denial of real estate property and ownership, and also the impacts of tax foreclosure has really deeply and disproportionately been felt in Black communities. So with that, we have released recently a report that is titled Keeping Your Family Home, Addressing the Challenges of Inherited Properties in Detroit. This report details the scale of family-owned properties in Detroit that has been inherited through generations. And it also identifies potential solutions that can help Detroiters attain legal ownership for their inherited properties. Really quickly, I just want to highlight a few of the challenges that heir properties pose on individuals, families, and communities. Some of the things or challenges include it can be difficult or even impossible for an individual living in an inherited residence to sell the property, borrow money against this equity, or obtain homeowner insurance. Another challenge inherited properties pose is that those that have inherited properties often face barriers to accessing important city and county financial aid programs that can assist with home repairs, property tax payments, and also to prevent tax foreclosure. And then at the neighborhood level, if an individual cannot access resources to keep and maintain inherited property, the property runs the risk of falling into disrepair or foreclosure and also ending up abandoned. So with that, there are several key stakeholders that influence this topic. At the core of it, we see government, local funders, and the legal system. But there's also community leaders and advocates, community development practitioners, residents, and media. For my project, though, and for developing my data product, it was really challenging, very similar to a lot of the other fellows that have also expressed the same thing. It was challenging for me to really think about who the key focus of my data product would be. I, similar to Sharani, wanted it to be the residents, right? But after I really thought about what this data product really needed to do, I really saw that this focus would be on community development practitioners, the local funding ecosystem, community leaders and other advocates, and media. So, as I kind of touched on this already, as we as a city continue to work to advance economic equity and create thriving and resilient neighborhoods, we really see that increasing homeownership and building generational wealth is critical to the work that we do. And so what I had to use that as kind of like the key guiding theme to kind of think about what these key audiences could do to help address the issue. And so I came up with 5 themes, which includes expand capacity for low-cost will and estate planning support through strategic partnerships, increase outreach and education on the importance of wills, trusts, and estate planning, help grow and sustain middle-class neighborhoods in Detroit, and preserve and increase homeownership and support opportunities to build generational wealth in Detroit. And then I grouped these questions. I grouped some questions around like what might these key audiences want to know to help kind of start to shape my data product. And so some of the things that I thought they would want to know is like generally like how many Heir properties exist in the city, right? Just to get an idea of what the scale is. Where are they located in the city? And are there any specific challenges for neighborhoods that have Heir properties in it? But then digging deeper, I figured that they may want to also understand why these Heir properties exist. How does addressing Heir properties impact economic equity and support with wealth building? Are there any concentrations of Heir properties in the city, and what could be done to address the issue? So this led me to identifying 3 main data indicators or data points that I would want to make sure are illuminated in the data product. They include the number of Heir properties at the city level, an estimation of the value of Heir properties in Detroit, and a map of Heir properties in Detroit as well. And with that, I developed an infographic and an accompanying social media toolkit as my data product. Infographics, the reason why I chose this is because infographics are visually engaging. They allow you to digest information quickly, and the packaging the infographic with a social media toolkit allows us the opportunity to help with movement building around this topic. So my infographic, to ensure that it would speak to the key audience, I made sure that it had a clear title and introduction with a description that explains what the infographic is about, comprehensive and concise messaging that provides context and helps guide the reader along with important and informative information, accurate and relevant data visualizations that are easy to digest and graphically appealing, visual aids that helps the reader navigate the information with natural breaks and helps to make the graphic easier to understand, a call to action and solutions laid out for the reader, and copy and paste messaging for easy social media posting. And this can also, I tried to structure in a way that could also be used as talking points for the user as well. Then I took all of that and I compiled all of that information into the accompanying social media toolkit, which provides background information on Heir properties in Detroit, and has that copy and paste messaging from the infographic as well for easy social media posting and talking points. The package offers versatility for the reader and is a nice companion to the report that we recently released. So getting to the data product, excuse me, there were several things that I considered for the key design. And I also had to really acknowledge that as an organization, we really think about the release of our reports with pyramid of products. And so how could this data product fit in with our pyramid of products was really important as well. So with all of that, I really thought about, who is this for? Who are my key audiences? What do I need them to do? And what's going to be the easiest way for them to do it. And so that landed me in making sure that there was something that was digital, easy to access, easy to digest, and easy to use. And that's how I came up with this data product. Sorry. So as I mentioned, we have a pyramid of products, which offers our stakeholders kind of a package of resources to really connect with the topic. So we've had our full report go out. I will say that actually conducting the work for this data product and for this fellowship, it also inspired me to create a report primer, which is a light touch on data, but it gave me an opportunity to also speak directly to residents. So I still got my resident tool out of this project as well, which was really great. And then the infographic and the social media toolkit also fits within our pyramid of products as well. So my final reflections and key takeaways are kind of laid out here on the screen here. But I do want to just highlight, there was a quote, and I believe it was Selena that shared this with us during the fellowship, from Terrence Kawaja, that says, the real value add is in the storytelling to make the data comprehensible and actionable by humans. And this resonated with me quite a bit and really informed a lot of my process and even helped me navigate a lot of the challenges that I ran into and landed me on this final data product. And that is the first thing here. Key storytelling is a critical component to your data visualization. That was something that was really, really big for me, being clear on who you want to do something and what you need them to do. As I said, I really wanted to create something for residents, because the other thing here is people just don't have wheels, right? And so I just wanted to do something, but it was really hard to create a data product that was just about like people getting wheels, right? So being clear, like what you really need to happen here was another big takeaway from me as well. Identifying the right data. And that starts with knowing what you need the key audience to do. There was a lot of data that we were able to access through our project for developing the report. And I wanted to just give it all, right? But that wasn't feasible. And so being clear on what the key audience needed was important for me in identifying the right data. Some of the challenges that I ran into were selecting the right visualizations for my data product, simplifying the visualization and staying focused, which I've kind of touched on already, ensuring the visualizations were engaging and useful to the intended audience. And then my words of advice is to be sure that you understand your purpose and goals, be clear on who your target audience is. There's a key theme here and what's important to them. Storytelling is key to making it stick, and identifying a data partner to provide feedback and support you. So huge thanks to Asia and Selena for being my data partners and pulling this off as well. So with that, I conclude, and I have my information here on the screen. Thank you all again for your time.